And hello, everyone out there in podcast land. Welcome back to the Front Row Network, your entertainment hub, as I kick my microphone on NPR Illinois, here at the Front Row Network, obviously. And we are here with a special episode today. We are so excited. Craig and I got the opportunity to speak to a very up-and-coming young actor, Connor Kalopsis, who is the star of the new film, The Prank. It is literally, at the time of our recording, releasing today. It is in theaters today. Make sure you get yourselves out there. Connor got to co-star with the legendary Rita Moreno in this, among an entire great ensemble cast. And we really have a fun time talking to him. But also here, as I continue to filibuster this intro, Mr. Craig McFarland. Hey, man.
Hey, how are you? It was so fun to get a chance to talk to Connor and to get a chance to check out this movie as well. It's a really cool, nice, like quick, fun, exciting movie to kind of sink your teeth into, and it's got a wonderful cast.
Yeah, it really has a lot for everyone. I mean, like, it's a really funny comedy. It's a legitimate thriller. There's elements of horror in there. There's elements of social commentary that are all throughout this, and anchored by just really good performances. I mean, like you said, the legendary Rita Moreno doing something I've never seen her do in films, which is pretty fantastic. Really stretching her wings in her late 80s here. But also Connor, his co-star Ramona Young, just really, really great stuff. Keith David's in this, the amazing Kate Flannery, of course, one of our old friends from Fan Expo. This just like a lot of really good stuff in this film. And Connor really gets to go deep into kind of the themes of it, how he like emerged the character of Ben, and how, he kind of actually brought a little bit of himself into that role, that he actually really identified with that character. And then talking a lot about something called soccer, right, Craig? Like, we even diverged off into that.
We sure did. And he's got his own MLS podcast all about LAFC, but then also talking about soccer in general. So definitely go and check that out. It's 110 Football. Of course, we are City fans. So, you'll have to see how that interaction went. But it was just great to get a chance to talk to him. But what do you think, Jared? Just get right into it?
Yeah, let's not waste any more time, everyone. Here is our conversation with the prank star, Connor Kalopsis.
2 more months till the school year's up. But you do have to get through midterms, so buckle up.
Scholarship. I am so close to this Treehorn scholarship.
There is a cheater among us. And until I find out who it was, you will fail.
This woman endangered your future. She's gotta pay.
There's all sorts of ways you can ruin someone's reputation online, right?
No, we're talking.
It is so great to welcome into the Front Row Network and NPR Illinois Community Voices, Connor, who is going to be the star of The Prank, which happens at the time of this recording to be opening today. So, Connor, how's it feel?
It feels great. I mean, look, we filmed this 2.5 years ago, so the fact that we get to celebrate together on the day it's actually out is great. No, I'm super happy. I'm excited for everyone to see it finally.
That's fantastic. It's serendipity, really. It had to wait for the release to where the three of us can get together on a Zoom call and be able to talk about it. So I appreciate that the production really allowed for that to happen, that timeline. But, I got to ask one question to start off with, and we don't want to get into spoiler territory right away here, but yeah, where's Wayne? Tell us where's Wayne at?
Yeah, man. Where's he at?
Hey, that's one of the very integral plot points to the story. So I won't tell you where he is, but what I will tell you is finding out where he is was one hell of a ride.
Anybody that watches the trailer, you're going to automatically just be doing "Where's Wayne" about 1 million times. But Connor, I wanted to talk to you specifically about Ben. I love movies like The Prank because we get to really see the journey of how somebody who's seemingly a pretty good put together person ends up doing something that we might not see as a very good action. And so you guys take a lot of time to walk us through like how he gets to the evolution of what happens here. So talk to me a little bit of like developing like Ben as a person, and then like how you kind of escalate that stuff up in your mind as an actor.
Yeah, well, I mean, first and foremost, the script was written by Becca Flynn White and Zach White, and the writing alone lend itself well to help me be able to act it well as well. But Maureen Barucha also gave all of us really the platform to kind of run with the characters in our own little way, kind of a little bit outside of what the script was already giving. But yeah, he's neurotic, overachiever, anxiety driven, right? So kind of starting off with that basis, right? Like in high school, that was kind of who I was already, right? So it wasn't too much of a jump for me, but in that, everything about growing up, right? Making mistakes, right? And to your point, in the film, around halfway through, there's something big that my character does that you really wouldn't expect it, right? So just being able to play these characters who, things happen, right? And how Ben individually responds to all those stuff. It was fun to play.
Yeah, so you as a little follow-up to that, so you say you did put a bit of yourself into this. You could identify with
Yeah.
Ben quite a bit and how you were in high school.
Yeah, it's more, it really is that like neurotic, solution oriented
Mm.
like way about, right? Like how do I get what I want by fixing everything in the path as fast as possible, right? And that's never like a recipe for success in some senses, right? Because you just stress yourself out so much. But and then the juxtaposition with my co-star Ramona Young, her character Tanner, it was just, it's that constant, hey, this is what I need, it's not working, and then Tanner throwing something else in there and just completely rocking the ship, right?
You guys are so fantastic together in this
Thank you.
movie. One of the key things I took away there. But also, it's very early in the film. But do you think that Ben is informed a lot because they've had the death of his father in the family, and that there's this added pressure to be even more, even like than what he already is?
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. That's a very integral. That's a like one of the key reasons why, Mrs. Wheeler failing him in the class is so detrimental, right? Because it really throws a cog in his whole plan to get to the same college as his late father, right? That's all he wants. So using that and then, heightening the anxiety and really letting it unravel when things go wrong was really fun.
This entire ensemble is wild, and one of the things that Jeremy and I really don't like to do, we actually try to forbid ourselves from doing it, is to say, "What was it like?" Because you get those kind of
Yeah.
questions all of the time. But when you're starring with Keith David and Kate Flannery, those two names alone. But then you have to at least allow us one "what was it like" question to be in the orbit, to be around EGOT winner Rita Moreno and be able to act with her throughout this film.
Yeah, I mean, it's a necessary question though. So I won't like it really is. And I've been, this industry, there's a lot of really great people. And a lot of times, whether you're doing press, doing different interviews, you wanna tell people how much you love them, how good they are, right? You always wanna bring up other people, but and it gets repetitive a lot, right? And it
Mhm.
sometimes can feel disingenuous, but I truly don't have words to describe how much admiration I have for Rita. And I could go on story and story, like it's the basis of at this stage in her career. When I get to set as a 20-year-old, I'm tired, I'm complaining about stuff, I'm getting coffee in the morning to wake me up, and then I look over and she's not only practicing lines but dancing and laughing and like, and it's genuine, right? And it's she has this zest for life, hopefully not, but I think at her age, I would be a little more cynical at that age. So it really, and it's one of those experiences in which it does kind of give you a new perspective on, who the person I want to be, as crazy as it sounds, right? So that's the caliber of actress you're working with when you step onto set with Rita Moreno. It's not just, hey, what can you teach me about acting? Or hey, what can we do here? It's more than that. Like I literally had an epiphany about, my perspective on life after working with her.
Oh, that's so fantastic. I mean, if you think about it, she's just one of those true Hollywood legends, and we don't have a lot of those that you would put in that category and that are left or that have continued to work. And to think that she was, when you're filming this, she's in her late 80s, she's now 92. I mean, like, it's just remarkable the work that she does in this film. And like you said, she just exudes this. I don't know what it is, this aura about her that it's like you just are immediately drawn into any character that she's playing.
Yeah, my take, it's her passion for the craft. Because she, as you know, she's still actively working and she has been for so long, and she genuinely loves it. Every character she gets to play, she loves it. And this character specifically, this was something that she's never gotten to do before. And I'm just so happy that I was able to play the opposite of that, right? And be able to experience that with her. Like, look, there's comedic beats in the film. There's dramatic beats. There's a lot of really intense, sometimes scary beats, right? And the fact that I got to play around and discover all those things with Rita, that's single-handedly my greatest acting achievement thus far. So,
Well, let's speak about another co-star of yours there in your interactions, Ramona Young.
yeah.
Taylor, this is you guys have to be having the most fun of all time, right? Because like this, you guys' chemistry is so perfect on screen. Like, talk to me a little bit about just adapting to each other, or like, did you spend a lot of time with each other to get so comfortable? Because you're very comfortable together.
Yeah, I hope it looks like we're lifelong friends. That was
It
what I
does.
had to get at. Okay, good. Because we were still filming during the tail end of the pandemic. So this was late, like this was summer of 21. We were still testing because it was mandated and we were in a bubble. And I only met Ramona about 3 days before filming. And
Wow.
Maureen, the director, she gave us one task. She said, here's how you're gonna get together and bond. She said, go and make the song that is performed in the movie. And so we did. We went with a producer friend of mine. His name's David Green, and we went and we recorded the song. It's some song about like not liking pineapple on pizza, and like we were brainstorming. I asked her, I was like, "Do you like pineapple on pizza?" And she was like, "Hell no." And I was like, write that down. That's gonna make the movie, you know." So whatever weird music baby that was made out of that, and making the final product. So it was fun. And Ramona's tier A professional. Like I think what you guys see on screen is a very evident of the reality of how much fun we were having on set.
This is astounding because my literal next question on there was about the pineapple song.
Oh, boom! There you go. I'm one step ahead, you guys.
Yeah, well, because like the way it comes out in the movie, I was just sitting there, I was thinking like, God, are they like improving this whole song right here? Because
Yeah.
it's absolutely hilarious.
It's meant to give that vibe, right? It's meant to give like really the genesis of that was finding something to connect two best friends, right? And I with all my friends, there's always something, right? It's always you share a love for XYZ, and I have friends that I share a love for music, and just the outrageous performative nature of performing a funky rap song in front of a 6 a.m. soccer crowd is always really funny.
Yeah, that was hilarious too, because I guess we got to work the national anthem in there too.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely funny stuff there. But yeah, I'm astounded that like that's like a perfect way to get you guys together and to do that. But I do like though that like it does feel like they've been to best friends for a long time, because there is some conflict that comes from what happens in this film with that. So were those scenes a little harder to film when it's like, oh, we have to like do this because you guys work together so well?
Yeah, weirdly not as hard because I don't know. I really, I don't want to hit this point home too much, but when you're working with an ensemble and a cast, and Ramona specifically in this context, when you have professionals who are bringing their A game, it does really give myself a platform as an actor to, there's less pressure, you know what I mean? It's more freedom to really like push myself, vice versa. And so going to set, Maureen, we did the scene as written a couple times, and then Maureen's like, all right, now we're just gonna argue, improv, let's go, right? Let's just be mean. And a lot of the meat of the scene came from that, right? So the great moments from all those scenes tend to just come from the teamwork on the day, right? And the collaborative nature of how are we just going to play the best we can right now.
Yeah. So Marine actually did encourage a lot of improv on the set,
Oh,
or
a
like,
lot
trying
of
to get that
improv,
stuff.
a lot of improv. Like her background, especially because she's done a lot of the comedy segments on Jimmy Kimmel and stuff. She real and again with the ensemble, you mentioned Keith David. We have Kate Flannery, Meredith Salinger, Rita, Ramon. You know what I mean? Like these are all actors who are more than capable of like really pulling their weight in the improv category, right? And so some of Rita's, as well as myself, some of my favorite moments were genuinely these improv, and it's a comedic movie as well, right? So there's a lot of opportunity for that amongst the real grounded parts too. So it was really holistically a really fun movie to act in.
I really like that you brought up the fact that it is a comedic movie. It's also a thriller, but it also has like this it has this message about a reflection on our times. I mean, if I want to talk a little bit about the social media of it all with you, I'd encourage that our, listeners go out and find this film and check it out. You can also just right now check out the trailer, and in the trailer you'll even see the establishment that the prank has to do around social media and the spreading of false information on social media. So this is like a really open-ended, but I just wonder your thoughts on kind of this movie as a reflection on social media and society in general.
Yeah, so I've only grown up in the wake of social media and the internet, right? Like I like, and I'm not going to pretend like I don't, like I've only known the world like that, right? And it is truly reflective of what real high school is like. Again, in the theaters, stuff can always be, emphasized or, punched up to be good in a movie, but the nature of, hey, we want to ruin someone's reputation. Let's attack them on social media, and it working, or in this case, spiraling out of control in a sense. It's really true, right? And how it has real life consequences. And I don't think people talk about it enough still, even though we are starting to. Even on a scale like that, right? A scale like just misinformation at a school, not even just like on a national level, like we all talk about nowadays, right? But even on these like local small levels in schools with kids and stuff, like I went through it, everyone's going through it. And, even 2.5 years removed from filming, with all this AI stuff that's coming out as well. We touch upon deep fakes. This was before AI was crazy mainstream, but I still think that film holds up in that regard, even without explicitly talking about AI. So it really is current in that sense, like you were mentioning.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think also there's in that vein, not even just like in how things can go viral and how they can spin out of control. I was really getting the sense of kind of just like the casual cruelty that can happen with the veil of social media. Like you can start out with something that's just a prank or just a joke, but then like certain people start taking it. And actually, Tanner has a bunch of lines in this where she keeps telling your character, just like, don't worry, nobody actually believes it. It's just, they're just having fun with it. But then it just keeps going and going and going, and it like attracts there. Like, what are your thoughts kind of on like, what do you think like people should take away from that aspect of like the theme of the film in terms of like how it's easier to be cruel to people that online?
Yeah, it's funny you say that because now I'm realizing my character's a little more like the concerned parent who doesn't know too much about how it works.
Yeah.
But to your point, like it's just how the narrative takes control outside of what you already posted, right? So let's say I wanted to pull a prank on someone. Tanner in the movie explicitly says, I've lost control of the narrative. It is
Yeah.
out of our control. So I think to your point, the real kicker here is the fact that yes, you can personally attack someone online, and that in itself is bad. But one of the most dangerous aspects of that is how then that takes a life on its own that now we can't control, right? And I think that's the most detrimental part of it, when people start making their own opinions about it, popular opinion, and that's what goes, right?
Yeah.
And then almost actually, I think like third of the way through the film, the entire narrative almost completely flips in a sense. So it's really fun.
Yeah, and just like the veneer, like you like the loss of responsibility for what you say,
Yeah.
like obviously like Tanner is setting this up in a way that it's anonymous when they can't trace anything back to you guys, but still like she doesn't ever seem to like fully grasp it until like the like the middle parts where a lot of stuff starts going very
Yeah.
haywire in the film. It's just like you feel like this just you don't even have to answer for this kind of stuff anymore nowadays.
Well, I feel like our generation's a little desensitized, right? I mean, I think it's pretty, clear that that's the case. I think there's a little less common courtesy nowadays, especially from my no, honestly, right? Especially
Yeah.
from my generation, because there's this platform now we can all kind of hide behind, right? The
Mm.
fact that I can post anything online without the fear of any repercussions, right? Of what I'm saying, right? And I think that kind of is a vehicle for a lot of scary stuff nowadays, because I mean, before social media you would say something and then if someone didn't like it I could get sucker punched for it, right? But now, you know yeah, of course that's extreme, but what I say stands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I mean, accusing people of murder seems like
Yeah,
a punchable
pretty
sometimes.
pretty extreme.
I'd say you're talking to a couple of older millennials here, Connor, but at least we do know about the social medias and whatnot, but not growing up in it. It's great to get your perspective on these kind of like issues and things that continue to come up, and really interesting to talk to you about the film and everything else. And we do want to continue to talk a little bit about acting, but we have to spend at least a few minutes here because I'm out of the office today, which means that I was able to, for this interview, just for you specifically, Connor, be able to wear all of my St. Louis City gear.
Oh, boom.
So
Love it. Come on now.
We are a couple of soccer freaks here.
we got to
Hey,
talk. We got to talk a little MLS.
All for City, man. Come on now.
Yeah, exactly. It was so cool. We had the chance to only attend one match down there, and to see it, the city come alive. You know, there was such a hole left in that city when the Rams moved out your way, out to LA, and so to have like the new stadium built. It's incredible. The atmosphere was amazing. But of course, for our listeners that don't know, you've got this great podcast, 110 Football, that is basically going all things LAFC, but then you also cover the MLS too. So talk to us about your interest in the sport and just how you all started that.
Yeah, so I mean, sports wasn't big in my life growing up, and being from Canada, like football, and like I never had any like strong connections in my family to like, the popular sports. And I don't know, there's a very communal nature to soccer, in my opinion, and it's really like a real communal experience when you go to soccer games, right? The clock doesn't stop. You're all there for one reason, and then the game's done, right? And there's something simple about that I really like. And then moving out to LA around the same time, a brand new franchise, LAFC, came to town, and it was the perfect opportunity for me to start my own story with my own team, right? And it's kind of a reflection of my experience living in LA too. It's kind of a melting pot of different cultures, and no matter where you're from, we're all part of LA now. We all live in LA. We're part of this community. Let's celebrate it for what it is. So first and foremost, that's why I love LAFC so much. And then that ended up, that passion for the team translated into a web series and a podcast that I was producing. We were lucky enough to actually have an official affiliation with LAFC at some point. Actually, during the year, they signed Gareth Bale and Chiellini. So that was, and they won the MLS Cup. Honest to God, couldn't have been a better year to be covering them at that scale. So that was,
I mean, fair to say you caused that. I mean,
oh yeah, that was
we'll just say that.
single-handedly won LAFC the MLS Cup. But no, I'm a huge soccer fan. Messi's coming into the league now, so it's a real fun time to just be a fan nonetheless.
It's really cool because we actually, I mean, myself, Jeremy's been a Premier League fan for forever. I really came into it because I fell in love with Ted Lasso, and then to kind of just sort of pick up on that, it's been really neat to like see the sport from a different perspective. Because of course I watched the World Cup. And of course saw soccer growing up, but not to this extent. And it's like you said, it's this communal experience. I don't know if you knew this, but you are not the only actor that has a podcast all about a football team. But Matthew Lewis, who played Neville Longbottom in the Harry Potter series, he does the official Leeds podcast. And I know that they got relegated last year, didn't they, Jeremy? But
sorry, Matt.
still sorry, Matt. But it's still really cool that like you get your opportunity to have your passion and to be able to follow that as well. And so it's just really neat to be able to have both those worlds that you're having collide.
Yeah, it's a little synergistic, right? I mean, there's a lot. Will Ferrell's an owner of LAFC. Like, there's just a lot of good stuff. And now with the whole Apple TV deal, there's a lot of content around the league, and it's just a great time to be an independent content creator and covering the league. And when you're building brand new stadiums in St. Louis and selling out 25,000 person stadiums for a soccer game in the middle of the US, then you realize there's more to it than just clicks and views on social media. So I love it.
And even the women's side, I know you've been doing a lot of Angel City as well. And the current, I'll tell you, the stadium, I was just in Kansas City not too long ago, and seeing that stadium, it's absolutely gorgeous. And I know that they're just now kind of unveiling it, and I can't wait to go see a match with them too. It's a really cool time to be a sports fan, and in particular a soccer fan, for sure.
Yeah. Those are our rivals. My man, we do not go and see sport in Kansas City.
No, I didn't say sporting. I said the current. I said the
Oh,
women's
the current.
team.
That's right. You
Come
said the current.
on.
Sorry.
Which city at the moment doesn't have a women's team. So it's
Yeah,
like,
get on
they
that
got to
one.
get on that, St. Louis.
It'll happen. It'll
Yeah.
happen.
It'll get
Yeah.
there. They're supporting it nicely. All right, that's our MLS riff. Thank you very much for indulging us. Back to the movie. You talked a little bit about Maureen encouraging improv on the set. How was like kind of just the rest of like the set, like interacting with all the characters? Because I had the opportunity to interview Kate Flannery at a Comic-Con,
Yeah.
do a panel. She's absolutely nuts. I absolutely love her, but she is uncontrollable. And so like was that kind of like just interacting with the rest of them? Like, was it a pretty loose set in terms of like just kind of doing what you need to do?
Yeah, I think Kate actually, I heard her say the other day, she compared the movie to a Long Island iced tea of movies. She said
Yeah,
it
that's
has
good.
everything you need. No, Kate, I mean, when you have films like these and an ensemble like these, like this film has, um, the natural chemistry that comes with everyone just being genuinely good people,
Mm.
shows, right? A lot of the times in this industry, you can get pretentious people on set, or sometimes just the chemistry's not really there, or people are sometimes just a little closed off. But this was truly a set in which you walk onto set any given day, and you're having genuine conversations and fun with everyone. And again, this was a bubble too, so we didn't really have too much else to do other than just hang out on set. We filmed in the high school up in Oxnard, California. So it's a city that's pretty isolated from the rest of LA and not too close to anything. And so just kind of being out there, nothing else to do with the rest of the cast. It was just fun getting to know everyone. And we had our premiere just a couple days ago from the time that this was recorded, and seeing everyone and literally having like 2 years to catch up on. It was really good to see everyone.
Yeah, and I kind of appreciate this because I've always on the fence about this, like when films do this, but I love that you guys added in the outtakes in the credits of
Yeah,
this because
yeah.
look, I don't want to give things away, but the film gets intense, guys. It gets very intense. And so I love it because like it just gives me this like ability to like breathe and be like, man, yes, I really did love all these people. And I want to just have one more like laugh
Yeah.
moment with them. So I'm very, very grateful that you guys like included that.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna hate myself for not remembering their name, but during the Oscars, that writer gave that speech about where the state of the financing of like indie movies are
Yeah,
nowadays.
that was Cord Jefferson. Yeah.
Yeah, and this movie is a prime example of that, right? You have the originality factor of a good storyline. You have a cast ensemble that is far good enough to perform in a movie like this, right? And then at this level, this is the movie that you want to come see in the theater, right? You mentioned
Yeah.
it gets intense sometimes, it's fun at times, but at the end of the movie, you have a blooper reel. You have Rita laughing her head off, and you see the genuine nature of the cast, right? And that's something I miss in movies, right? That was a reason I enjoyed that. That for me was a reason I would connect with a movie, right? And remember it even more. And we've strayed away from that a little bit, but I'm hoping that this movie and I'm sensing a little bit of a wave of people enjoying kind of lower budget indie films a little bit more. And I just encourage everyone to just give it a little bit more time and better the benefit of the doubt, because I know too many people who are saying there's nothing original anymore on these big streamers, yada, yada, yada. But then, no one's going out to the theaters to watch indie films either. You know what I mean? So you can't really complain about, the 15th Marvel movie this year, but without, going to see indie films as well. But I digress. That's my only hot take.
Nope. Here,
Well,
here.
Well, I was just going to say there's a lot of reasons to seek this film out and to go watch it. But for some people that might have a little bit of tentpole movie fatigue or award season movie fatigue,
Right here. This movie.
the runtime of this movie is 90 minutes. And I got to tell you, Connor, that's great.
Yeah, no, really, it's entertaining.
It's entertaining 90 minutes. You get in, you get a great story, you get some really cool twists, and then you get out, and it's like it's great. Like you said, it's like those classic. It had a real independent in the early 1990s kind of vibe to it in the way that the story was structured and everything else. I'm a huge Kevin Smith guy, and I could have saw like a Kevin Smith eye on this kind of a film. Yeah.
And I want to give credit where credit's due. That really comes from the whole producing team, and specifically Stephen Wolf and then Maureen Barucha, the director. There's their work to kind of create a movie in an ensemble, especially in such a competitive market nowadays. It's truly remarkable when you pull these indie movies off. And again, like the thing that still sticks out to me is I got to work with all these people, you know what I mean? And have it like, I was the quote unquote lead, but to be able to have that kind of stage alongside everyone, it's really invaluable to me.
That's really cool. Yeah. And it's great to have gotten a chance to talk to you. We're wrapping up now and our time is short with you, but it's cool to see you continue to move along in your career. You're someone that's been acting already for over a decade, and it's like to think about where you're going to go is also extremely exciting. And so we have a traditional last question that we like to ask our guests, and that is to kind of turn the tables around on you just a little bit and say, is there ever a story that you would love to share that you're never asked about, or is there a message that you're never asked about that you'd like to share with our listeners as we sign off here?
That's a very good. That's a very good. I always love when there's different questions or different perspective on things. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything specifically that I don't think I haven't got the chance to say, but I really, as much as I've already said it before, if you're gonna see the film for any reason, this cast and crew was really A tier. So if you celebrate them and their performances in it, they all get their own beats. But yeah, I'm still trying my best. I've been in this business for more than 10 years, as you said, and as a child actor, I mean, most child actors, I can only assume it's the relationship with the industry is a little bit different, right? Because of the experience so early on. And look, I missed half of middle school and then half of high school for filming two sitcoms, right? So it's kind of rediscovering my relationship with it and now enjoying myself and being able to, like I said, play with these actors and really trying to find where my identity sits in the industry is going to be fun. So still a work in progress, but we'll figure it out. Plus some soccer stuff.
Plus
Yes.
some soccer stuff. Well, it was
It's
yeah, it was great getting a chance to talk to you today, Connor. And just thanks for all that art and creativity you're putting out into the world because it helps us all, right? So thanks so much for what you do.
Likewise. Thank you, guys.
Okay, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as we enjoyed having it. A really, really insightful young man there who's, I think, got a pretty bright career ahead of him, right, Craig?
Yeah, it's really cool to see that he's already done like the sitcom thing. He's done some of the soap
operas.
thing.
Yeah.
He's done, all of this stuff. And now some independent movies, and he's podcasting, he's content creating, he's on the gram. I mean, like this guy's going to be around for a long time. And it's really cool to get a chance to talk to him now and also to see him with this great ensemble cast in The Prank. So definitely recommend that people go and check that film out.
Yeah, it is in theaters now. I'm sure it will be on streaming soon. But we talked about with him, man, find the time to go out and support these movies in the theaters. If you're listening to our voices and it's in a theater near you, find some time. It is a really, really fun movie. You're in and out. It's 90 minutes. It's not like it's not Martin Scorsese's Killer of the Flower Moon, anything like that. You will enjoy your time there and you will help support, lower budget cinema, which is really what we need to do nowadays. Really get some diversity of films out there. So, anyway, Craig, anything else to say? It's been a busy month at the Front Row Network. Where can people find everything? Because I know right now we are in the midst of our March Movie Madness bracket. Lou Hare put together the best film of the 2000s, so 2000 to 2009. It is a brutal bracket that he has put together, and we are in on that. So make sure you are going to the Front Row Network Facebook page every day to make sure your favorites get to vote in there, and we will continue to do some coverage of that throughout the time there. But not to be outdone, Beyond the Mouse has done their own bracket, haven't they?
Man, Beyond the Mouse, we decided to jump into the madness a little bit, and we did a Pixar movie bracket. I will tell you that the results of it are wild because, I mean, that's just the movie that you think won. Name the best Pixar movie, Jeremy. Name any Pixar movie you think that could win this bracket.
Oh man.
If you get it
Toy
right,
Story
then
3
if
would
you get
be,
it right, if you get it right, then we'll just delete this.
Toy
But
Story 3 would be a strong choice. I personally love Coco more than anything in the world. Up would be a really, really big, strong contender. I see the head shaking. No, I'm very wrong.
literally, you just named 3 movies, and I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but you got to listen to find out what this crazy panel of 5 came up with as the best Pixar movie through this
My wife
bracket
would
format.
say, my wife would say Monsters Inc. That's her forever favorite Pixar film. So, oh, she's gonna
Now
be
we just have. Now, I don't want to give away what's going on here, but I'll tell you that it is March Madness, and there was some madness going on in that bracket. So the championship match was an 8 seed versus an 11 seed. I will let
now
you
we're
know
talking.
that.
Now we're
So
talking.
anyway, that's where all that's at as far as that's concerned. I just had the opportunity from Disney Plus to chat with the head director of X-Men 97 as well. So that will be dropping in the Beyond the Mouse feed, and then also be on nprillinois.org as well. We are continuing our coverage of shrinking over at Peanut Butter and Biscuits Shrinks, and I did promise them an episode next week, Jeremy. So I think we're going to have to get that
Gotta do it, yeah.
delivered. And then myself personally, I'm going to be at the end of the month heading out Connor's way, actually, to the LA area. I'm going to go to Disneyland for the first time. So that'll also be covered on Beyond the Mouse. But yeah, it's been a nutty couple of weeks here in terms of interviews and things like that for the network. And of course, all the Oscar coverage we had at the beginning of the month. So it's been wild, man.
Yeah, if you want to see any of our coverage of the 96 Academy Awards, that is obviously on our feed, on our Facebook pages, everywhere. We break everything down, give you our surprises, our snubs. Lou Hare, our new guest the Oscars Challenge champion. Congratulations, Lou. And of course, he and I will be gearing up pretty soon because WrestleMania season is coming up, and 5-Star Pod Splash will be back. All right, everyone, we've talked for enough. Okay, you can go. We're giving you content and content and content. As always, find us wherever you find podcasts, the Front Row Network, or go to the Entertainment Hub itself, nprillinois.org/program/front-row-network. All right, Craig, I'm going to sign us off here because we've got to get out. But thank you once again to Connor. And once again, the prank, go see it, go find it wherever you can. But for the Front Row Network, I am Jeremy.
And I'm Craig.
And as always, we will see you in the front row.